covered quite a bit real fast here. There's two of everything. Let's cover that some more. I found there's two Supreme Courts. There's the Supreme Court of the United States, fraud, and there's the Supreme Court of the United States. Oh, that's the correct one. The U.S. Supreme Court is the fraudulent one. I found there's two district courts. There's a District Court of the United States, and there's the U.S. District Court. There's two of everything. Two of you, two of your names. You know, I was attempted. They attempted to sue me, some of the most prestigious law firms in the country, for slander. I informed them, some things I'd said weren't very pleasant. I informed them that they had the wrong person because that wasn't my name. And if they would fix my name, I would answer the lawsuit. And so they ignored me, and they served me again. This time they put my Christian name on the outside of the envelope with my dead name inside the envelope, and I accused them of mail fraud. I gave them 10 days to respond, and then they surrendered. And that was the clerk of court surrendered this time because they were trying to drag me into court. So we beat the one law firm works for the ADL, Anti-Defamation League, and they surrendered on the name. And the next law firm was another prestigious law firm out of Tennessee, and they surrendered. And I just don't want to participate in U.S. lawsuits either. You know, if I want to admit I live in the U.S. Territory, and anyway, by the way, the definition of the United States found in the United States Code is somebody who lives in the 10-mile square Guam or Puerto Rico. Now, let's talk about some more fraud. We'll jump around a little bit. The IRS does not exist as a U.S. agency. It's not even part of the phony corporate U.S. It's a separate scam over to the left here. Then we got the separate U.S. scam over here on the right. And yet you people run around and you're being persecuted for not filing your tax returns. And you say, how can the U.S. court get standing to put you in prison or drag you to court? How do they do it? If the IRS is not even a U.S. agency, well, you somewhere in your life signed a piece of paper. Let's call it a W-4. On the W-4 it says, I swear under penalty of perjury to the United States that these facts are true. That's why they want one signed every year. A new 1040 and a new W-4, because your declaration of your W-4 is ongoing until you file the next one. Now you've already sworn to the court. You think you're going to show up at the trial and say, I don't want to participate? I mean, if I put you on the witness stand and say, do you promise to tell the whole truth, so help you God, and you swear in, and you go, I do you think you're going to step down now and say, I don't want no part of this? So you've already swore into their phony court, and you stand there saying, I'm not a citizen, and this isn't me, and blah, 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 and the judge looks at you and says, shut up. You mention Jesus, God, or the Constitution again, you're in contempt. Why? Because IRS filed a motion of limine, which stops you from mentioning any common law argument because your name's fiction. And you walked into the courtroom, and there's a fringe on the flag, and that's not a maritime flag, all the patriot mythology. It's right there. They'll tell you what it is. Just ask Satan what it is. Title 4, subsection 3 or 4 states, anything added to or subtracted from the flag of the United States of America makes it not a flag. It's a nothing flag. It's the great nothing. So your name's nothing. You're fictitiously dead. You've walked into a court that has no venue. It's the nothing flag. And you're a contract number, you got a contract, and the whole argument's contractual, so that's why the IRS files a motion of limine to eliminate your common law rights. You get up and say, I have rights. You don't have any rights. You got none. You're judicially dead. Now, years ago, I was a doorman to Trop. I've never been a big tax protester at all. Look, I was never a troublemaker, but I was studying law and working for a law firm out of Vegas. And I had some ideas and some concepts, and I wanted to try them out. And so I took my W-4. I was a doorman at the Tropicana Hotel, and I wrote above my signature on the W-4, forced to sign as a condition of employment. Was that my signature anymore? No. If I point a gun at you and make you sign your name for the deed to your house, is it your signature? No, sir. It's not your signature unless it's a free will. Where does that concept come from? Common law. Now, if it's not your signature, guess what I put under penalty of perjury for the United States? I crossed it off and wrote against my Christian religion. Then across the face of this slimy thing, I wrote exempt, E-X-E-M-P-T. And the girl behind the counter says, you can't do this. I said, how I fill out my satanic forms is my business. She says, well, I guess we'll accept it, but let me talk to my supervisor. She brings out her supervisor, and pretty soon she's upset. Well, I got my way. I said, it's not your fight. I want to fight Internal Revenue Service. And I knew I only owed them $100 for the year, and I just wanted to see what would happen. Well, 3 months later, I got a letter. I was frightened. It came certified mail. And by the way, certified mail is U.S. mail. Registered mail is U.S. of A. There's two of everything. You just have to start looking. I opened up my certified letter. My name was in all capital letters, which I didn't know that wasn't me at the time, but I was happy to read somebody else's mail. And it said, and by the way, the letter came from the questionable W-4 reporting officer in Detroit, Michigan. He was an attorney. Attorney, by the way, means to attorn from common law to statutory law. Somebody who leaves you in the common law is called a counselor in law. A counselor at law moves you to attornment again. Okay? Anyway, the letter stated very plainly that David Roland Hinkson was now exempt from paying federal income taxes. And I was pretty proud of that letter. It wasn't that I wanted to not pay or pay. I just couldn't believe that IRS would send me such a fine presentment. And I went up and down the front door of the Tropicana parading this lovely letter to all the door people because the IRS had just showed up and told everybody they had to report their tips. Nobody had the courage. I figured, what could they do to me? I owe them $100. Even if it was a 500% penalty, I could still afford it. I just wanted to see if these concepts worked, and they do work. Many times you'll get in front of a judge, and he will test you to see if you know what you're talking about, and if you don't, he'll just go right over the top of you. I could tell you some of the victories. I did a brief which proved that the BLM did not own the public lands, period. Didn't own a thing. A miner had $40,000 worth of rental fees to pay. I said that pursuant to the equal footing doctrine, all states enter the union equally. Texas never gave up any of their unappropriated lands. So if Texas never gave up her unappropriated lands, how could this guy in Colorado, how could Colorado surrender 80% of her lands? Doesn't that violate equal footing? Dang right. Then I said, well, all the people signed the disclaimer clause, but pursuant to the Supreme Court rulings that you can't surrender something even with consent. In other words, even when something is given that's not authorized by the Constitution, it can't be ratified with consent of the state officials. That was found in the New York versus United States case. I quoted that. And so the man kept all his mining claims, never paid his $40,000, and to this day he still has the claims. Now, you have the right, if you're a citizen of the United States of America, to claim unappropriated land. So I claimed $1 million piece right next to a casino. Boulder Highway, Las Vegas. We still have it. What we did was we took the guy's mining claim. He had been red tagged on Monday. They gave him till Friday to vacate. And the BLM told him, we're going to clean off your property with semi-trucks and wreckers. We're going to bring out loaders and forklifts, and you're out of here. He didn't want to go. So we had a deed, a quitclaim deed, and we sold the property from his dead name in all capital letters as he claimed it as a U.S. citizen to his real name in upper and lower case with a comma or semicolon between the middle and last name. And it said,
ignite your career. Change the world. Join the team.
That for consideration of $21, that he is selling his rights to the new